Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, Executive Editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with Dave's Faves. And today I want to talk about an obscure work by a not-too-obscure composer. I love this piece. Respighi, his Sinfonia Drammatica. And this is my favorite performance of it. It's with the Slovak Philharmonic Orchestra under Daniel Nazareth on Naxos. Now, there are a couple reasons why this is an absolute favorite of mine. First of all, it was originally issued on Marco Polo, and it was one of the very first recordings on Marco Polo that I became aware of. And I didn't even know Respighi, that's the guy. I didn't even know Respighi had written a symphony. I mean, he did. He wrote it in 1914. I knew the Pines of Rome and, the festivals of Rome and Roman festivals and maybe the birds, but a symphony? And this is not just any symphony. This is a big, hairy, romantic, monster piece of a symphony. It's 58 minutes long in 3 movements, 23-minute long first movement. It's not formally the most concise piece in the world. It's kind of all over the place. I don't care. It's gorgeously orchestrated. Remember, he studied with Rimsky-Korsakov. He knew his orchestration, and it has some amazing sonic moments. Well, for me anyway, it's got lots of tam-tam crashes, and it has organ pedals all over the place. These deep, deep organ pedals. And one thing about this particular performance that absolutely blew my mind was it has fabulous sonics for what it is. It especially captures those organ pedals absolutely marvelously. Now, the Slovak Philharmonic was nobody's idea at this point in time in 1986 of one of the world's top orchestras. It was a second-tier orchestra. Naxos and Marco Polo in those days were making a career by recording obscure Eastern European orchestras that they could, give them a few bucks and have them make a recording of some strange music that there was no comparison for. The next one that came out was the one on Chandos. I believe it was with Edward Downes. And that was more richly recorded and more sonorously played, but it didn't have those organ pedals. It just didn't, not in the same way. And I actually like the sound of the Slovak Philharmonic in this piece because even though it's a little rough and ready, and, it has those vibrato-laden trumpets, and they're going, you get a lot of solo trumpet here, wailing at the top of its range. It actually makes the piece sound leaner and not overly plush, but more urgent than it otherwise would, because it's a very exciting performance here. It's wonderfully exciting. And so I enjoy this. I enjoy it still. I think it just sounds marvelous. And the piece itself is extraordinary. If you didn't know that Respighi wrote a big, romantic, passionate, epic symphony, he calls it Drammatica. And Drammatica it is. It has a tragic ending, a big tragic coda. Oh, my goodness. It wears its heart on its sleeve. It's an absolute turn of the century, fin de siècle, decadent essay in emotional excess. And I love it. I just love it. I love every excessive drop of it. And so there you go. It's now on Naxos from its earlier incarnation on Marco Polo. It has been recorded since then several times. There's a very good one on BIS now. There's some good ones all over the place, but this is still my favorite. It has a freshness and a vividness and a visceral impact that I don't think any of the subsequent recordings really match. There was something so new and fun about this performance, and it's never lost its charms, at least for me. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me, and give this Sinfonia Drammatica a shot. I'm sure you'll be glad that you did. Take care.